Now, for some reason, every time that we bring in just a little bit of dirt like this into the studio, it gets everywhere. And I mean literally everywhere. It's even in my keyboards. Anyways, hey guys, my name is Dirty for Cinecom.net and welcome to Copycat Friday, a weekly series in which we recreate visual effects from famous movies and music videos. And today we are having a look at Post Malone and his new music video Goodbyes, a really cool music video with an exciting theme to it. But what got our attention was the crawling out of the ground at the cemetery effect. Now, my guess is that they put an actual coffin in the ground, but pretty close to the surface with a thin plastic over it, where Post Malone could break out through. And that'll give you the most realistic effect. But of course, it's not that easy or quickly to dig a hole into the ground, put a coffin in there, so we're gonna do it a little bit different, which is going to give us more flexibility, and you can even choose your own environment. Currently at Janek's place because he has a beautiful backyard, but it's also 5 o'clock because we needed it to be dark. It is dark, but it's also early. Out of respect, we didn't shot this at a real graveyard, but of course, if you do like to do that, you can. The only shot that you're gonna need is a low angle of the scenery, that's it. But make sure that you shoot this from a tripod or something fixed. As a reference, I also held my hand in the shot. This gives me a sense of size, lighting, and color of the skin tones. And the reason that we have to be so low to the ground is so that we can create a very simple setup for crawling out of the ground. Some time ago, we also created something similar where Janek was falling through the ground. Now, this was from a higher angle, but it also meant that we had to create a container and fill it up with gravel. Now, for this technique, all you're gonna need is a green screen and a table with some sand on it, and that's it. Now, we set up a green screen here in the studio, as you can see, but if you can, I would actually advise to set up a green screen on your location, and that way the lighting and the colors will always match. You could get yourself a portable green screen, which allows you to work super fast. But if you are doing it in the studio, there are a few things that you need to pay attention to. And first of all is the lighting. As you can see here behind me, we have set up a green screen. And I'm actually using 2 DIY lights to lit out the green screen. These right here are just very simple fluorescent fixtures. Within there, 2 fluorescent tubes, and that's it. I've mounted them to a simple light stand and they are shining here on the green screen. Now, because they are very long, they can also cover the entire green screen much better than traditional lights. And that way we are creating one zone for the green screen, and then right here I'm going to crawl out of the ground, and here we have our second zone. Now, recreating the lighting for the subject is not going to be that easy because we need to recreate the same lighting as we had outside. Now, we also had set up a backlight over there, which was kind of the moonlight, and we can recreate that very easily right here as well. But then we have the fill light. The sun was already rising a little bit. That means the sun was shining its light to the clouds, making a very huge reflection, kind of a very huge softbox in the sky. Super soft lighting, and even with soft boxes in the studio, that is hard to recreate. So what we did was just opening up our dome in the studio. We let in natural light from the ceiling from a very big light source, kind of the same as we had outside, like the big clouds and everything. And then here, this is just a simple table with a bunch of dirt onto it, and I can lay underneath that table, as you can see right here. And this kind of makes it seem like I'm crawling out of my coffin. And now I'm just kind of like putting my hand up here, crawling out of it. And you know, that's kind of it. But the last thing I want to talk about is the camera over there. And then for the camera angle, you want to make sure that you sit somehow at the same level as your previous shot that we took at the graveyard. So make sure you sit at the same height, at the same distance somehow, and that way your 2 shots will match perfectly. So those are the two shots that you'll need. We can now jump into Premiere Pro, but first I'd like to make a quick shout out to our sponsor Storyblocks Video. Storyblocks is an online library filled with high-quality stock clips from various themes, such as nature, people, time-lapses, and even 360 and VR. I can download backgrounds, overlay effects, transitions, and even After Effects templates, which allows you to create stunning visuals in a matter of seconds. Hundreds of thousands of video assets that you can download all with only a single price per year. For more information, make sure to click the first link in the description below. And now let's hop into Adobe Premiere Pro. Place the cemetery shot on the bottom of your timeline. On top of there goes your green screen shot. You start off by selecting that green screen clip and then heading over to the effects controls. From here, locate the opacity property, from which you can click on the mask pen tool. And this allows you to draw a mask around the inside of the green screen. But for the ground, you want to mask through it. When you're done, go back to the mask properties and increase the feather a little bit. Next, select the motion property, which allows you to move the clip and scale it to the place that you want. Then go to the effects library and search for the Ultra Key effect. Drag that over to the green screen clip. From the effects controls, we can now take the color picker of the Ultra Key effect to select and remove the green from our shot. With the controls under the Ultra Key, you can now refine your key. And if you're completely new to green keying, definitely check out the playlist in the description below, where we cover some very valuable tips on setting up and pulling off the perfect green key in both Premiere Pro and After Effects. And that brings us to the final step, which is the color correction. If you shot this on location, your colors should already match. If you didn't, we can use Lumetri for that. Our eclipse needs to get a whole lot more blue, so I decreased the temperature. Now often when you do a big temperature change, you're gonna need to steer with the tint as well. And in this case, I'm going to add some magenta into the shot to get the same night blue tone as the backgrounds. Finally are the contrast and light controls. It's pretty visible that we are working with studio lights, so that's why I'm going to decrease the highlights a bunch so that those parts are more flat. You might want to bring back the overall contrast if you do. And that's it. If it still wouldn't blend that well, then here are a few tricks. For starters, you could copy the backgrounds clip to the third video track. On here, I'm going to mask out a piece from the grass from the same spot underneath your zombie. When done, it will cover up the mistakes from your studio dirt. Use the feather of the mask to make it blend better. Now, one thing that we also did was adding real smoke in the background. Now, to make the blending go easy, we didn't put the smoke in front of the first tombstone. However, we are missing some fog here. So what you can do is search online or on Storyblocks for a stock clip of some smoke. We are using one of our own smoke effects that was included in the 5-day deal bundle, so unfortunately it's not available anymore. But basically, you can put this on top of your edit, and from the opacity property, change the blending mode to screen to get rid of the black. And that's it. Definitely feel free to add multiple smokes or fog clips to your scene, or even to color correct them as well using Lumetri. And that is how you can crawl out of the ground like a zombie without having to bury yourself alive, just like Post Malone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you Storyblocks for the support, and as always, stay creative.
So we're waiting for Jordy to throw this water balloon at because we don't have an end screen and we wanted to do this for a long time. So let's wait. Jordy! Jordy! Get! Did you count it, Jordy?